Alright, listen up. You want the truth. The hard-hitting, no-nonsense, in-your-face truth that will change your life forever. Well, here it is. Self-judgment is the quickest way to halt your progress, period. The moment you start judging yourself, you stop, you freeze, you build a wall around your growth. End of story. But here's the flip side. The moment you stop judging yourself and instead say, I'm always doing the best I can, that's when the floodgates open. That's when the momentum starts to build. That's when you give yourself permission to be human, to make mistakes, and to learn and evolve from them. So imagine this. What if every time you made a mistake, you just smiled and said, I'm doing my best? Now here's where the science kicks in. Because this isn't just some fluffy, feel-good mantra. This is backed by real hard science. Your mind, it works like a computer. When you run a program that tells you you're not good enough, your brain, like a good little robot, runs the program. And it locks you into a loop of frustration, stress, and stagnation. But here's the hack. When you reprogram that loop with the simple statement, I'm doing my best, your brain goes, oh wait, maybe we don't need to freak out every time we mess up. You see, when you stop judging, you stop needing to be perfect. And guess what happens when you stop needing perfection? You start getting more of it. Weird, huh? It's like magic. But it's not magic. It's neurobiology. And here's the real kicker. When you say, I'm doing my best, you shift the entire paradigm. You instantly give yourself the space to improve. You give yourself permission to try again, to be curious, to explore. And that, my friend, is how you build the self-love and confidence to go out and crush it. But it's not just about repeating those words mindlessly. It's about internalizing them, embodying them. How? By remembering that every experience is a feedback loop, not a failure. When you reframe your thinking, when you look at every challenge as a lesson, as a feedback system, you start to realize life isn't about avoiding mistakes. It's about learning from them. Hell, you're gonna make mistakes. That's just part of the human deal. Think about it like this. You're playing a game, right? But instead of seeing every loss as a failure, you start seeing it as feedback. The game gets a whole lot easier, doesn't it? You're learning, improving. And the next round, you're kicking ass. Now let's talk about rewiring those negative habits. You know the ones. The habits that drain your energy, that keep you small, that keep you stuck. These are the ones that you've picked up over the years. Maybe through trauma. Maybe from toxic people. Maybe from society telling you how you should be. But guess what? You get to choose what habits stick around. You're not some passive passenger in life. You're the damn driver. So here's the deal. You've got to stop identifying with your old habits and beliefs. That's the key. Look, maybe you've been hard on yourself. Maybe you've been running that old story of not being good enough. But here's the twist. You're not your past habits. You're your future actions. Every time you catch yourself spiraling into that negative habit, interrupt it. Interrupt it hard. You've got the power to break the pattern, to flip the script. Reprogramming yourself isn't easy. No one said it would be. But every time you make the choice to change, to move forward, to reframe your thinking, you're breaking free from the invisible chains that hold you back. Now let's talk about the science behind all this. Because this isn't just about feel-good words or fluffy ideas. No. This is about real psychology, real neuroscience. Your brain, like I said, is like a computer. When you feed it negative thoughts, it responds with negative actions. When you feed it positive affirmations, it'll rewire itself. Neuroplasticity, that's a fancy term for how your brain changes and adapts. And the more you practice self-compassion, the more you rewire your brain to look for solutions instead of problems. Your brain doesn't know the difference between a thought and reality. So if you think you're a failure, your brain will treat it like fact. But if you think you're doing your best, it'll believe that too. Now this all comes back to self-approval. You don't need external validation. You've got it all within you. Think about how many times you've waited for someone else's approval. Your parents, your boss, your friends. But you've always had the power to validate yourself. That's what it means to be truly self-reliant. When you truly, deeply, unapologetically accept yourself, the world shifts. You start attracting the right people, the right opportunities, because you're no longer pretending. You're not chasing approval, you're just being you. And you know what? Being you is more than enough. You are enough. Now I want you to think for a second. What would happen if you truly believed you were always doing your best? What if instead of getting stuck in self-doubt or shame, you just gave yourself a pat on the back and said, you know what? I'm doing my best. If you internalize this belief, if it became the foundation of how you operate, your life would change. You'd make decisions faster. You'd take more risks. You'd start moving forward at lightning speed. But why haven't you been doing this already? Why have you been stuck in those limiting beliefs? Is it fear? Fear of what others think? Fear of rejection? Well, guess what? The fear you're feeling is a sign. It's a sign that you're on the edge of breakthrough. Fear is the currency of growth. It's the indicator you're stepping outside your comfort zone. And outside that comfort zone, that's where the magic happens. That's where real progress is made. So here's what I want you to do. Interrupt the negative pattern. Catch yourself in the act of self-judgment and flip the script. And as you do that, you'll realize something amazing. You can choose your reality. You have the power to rewire your brain, to create new habits, to make new choices that align with who you really are. Because deep down, you know you're capable. You know you have it in you. You just need to give yourself permission to step into that power. You've got this. And every time you choose to break free from self-judgment, from negative habits, from limiting beliefs, you're taking another step towards the person you were always meant to be. Now go out there and be that person. Be the badass, confident, unstoppable force that you are. Stop waiting for permission. You've already got it. The world's waiting for you to show up.